You're listening to the Paracasual Destiny podcast. Hello, and thanks for tuning in to episode 17 of the Paracasual Destiny podcast. I'm Sooltime, and I'm joined by some close friends and family here, also Destiny fans. Green Stego.
Hello.
Hello, you there? And I'm hearing myself coming back, but we're also joined by Salliebug. Salliebug, can you hear me?
I'm here. Sorry about that. I forgot to mute my computer here.
Okay.
So,
and yep, first fail of the episode. There goes Flawless Raider. And last but not least, Romance Girl. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Hello. Yes. And it is a beautiful day here in sunny New England. The temperatures are rising for the weekend leaf removal activities. And so much is going on in the world of Destiny as we approach our runway for Beyond Light this coming up Tuesday. What you been up to, Salliebug? Anything Destiny related since our last broadcast?
It's so close. I was just thinking about that, and it's like, wow, I can't believe it is so close. Again, a few odds and ends, trying to. I think I had another gun that I noticed on one of the tracking sites. I only needed a few kills left to get the catalyst, so I did that. I think it was the Prometheus lens.
Oh wow! Okay.
So just still working on it. Want a catalyst that I know that I've started that I think I can finish before it all gets reset.
Mm-hmm.
Do all the catalysts get reset, or just some of them?
I think there's they gave a list, but I was under the impression that if you had started a catalyst on an exotic weapon, that progress gets reset.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, better safe than sorry. I thought it was just a few.
Yeah, better safe than sorry. If I get to keep the progress, great. That's just a bonus. And if I don't, then it's just something else to grind for. It's not a big deal for me. But on that, and then I got kind of lucky because Sooltime said, hey, if you want the lore for this particular book, it's the Right Reckoning. So if you want to hop in and we can try to get that. And so I hopped in and we just ended up getting in with two other players who knew what they were doing, and I got it on the first try. So
wow.
I was excited to get, so I was able to complete that lore book, which is one of the lore books that's going away. So just like little bits and pieces, like in your lore and your triumphs and things like that. So getting what I obviously not going to be completionist, so to speak, but getting quite a bit done.
Nice.
Cool. Green Stego, what have you been up to? Anything?
Oh, yes, we did.
All right.
Finished last night eliminating the last of Savathun's eyes, which was the final triumph that I needed for the seal, and I unlocked my first title, and I will be entering Beyond Light as a forerunner.
Congratulations.
Oh, awesome.
That must have been
awesome.
That must have felt good.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Yeah. It's fun when you achieve one of those milestones or those little goals in the game,
Yeah, shout out to Richard.
Yeah.
Our
guru.
Our guru.
Thank you, Ghost.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Prophecy last night.
Did you go all the way through the prophecy? Did you finish it, or did you just go in and get the lore?
We needed to get into the final room anyway to get the last eye.
That's right.
So we decided to just finish it after we got that last eye.
Might as well finish it. Awesome. That's actually a pretty fun dungeon.
Yeah.
I like the mechanics of it.
Cool.
And then we get to our way through part of Whisper to get the rest of those eyes.
So I imagine you were in a fire team with Green Stego, Romance Girl, getting that as well?
Yes, I am also a forerunner.
Nice. Congratulations to the both of you. I wonder if a lot of times you unlock these things, you grind and grind and grind, you finally get them, and one of the rewards is you get to purchase a high-priced item from the Bungie store. A Forerunner hoodie or something like that, you know. They do that with Moments of Triumph, and you know, there's that raid ring, and the reason I was thinking of that is I logged in actually in a rare in a rare act of chance. I logged in this morning before getting on to do the podcast. And that was one of the screens that came up, is that a lot of those offers are ending as Beyond Light approaches. And I, too, unlocked some lore with Salliebug. We started doing... I finished the Dust, so you had to go into, like, Tier 2 Reckoning to get a couple pieces of lore. And it just so happened that... one of the pieces of lore, it has to be the swords, I think. A certain boss to go into that area, and Salliebug was like, it was like what, Sally? Like an hour from reset, and that boss would change. And so I was like, man, the only way you're getting it is if you get lucky like I did, and you get a couple of blueberries who know what they're doing. Get paired up with a couple randoms who know what they're doing on the bridge, because it's not a slouchy activity. Even at really high light, you still need the Well of Radiance, and
we failed a few times.
You have to know what you're doing. And so sure enough, we got right down there, and there were a couple of people, and they joined us, and they knew what they were doing, and before you know it, I think within 20 minutes, Salliebug had that piece of lore too. So we finished up, what was that book called? Dust, I think?
Something like it.
Right.
It's from the Season of the Drifter, right?
Right. So we finished that lore book, and we're working on the For Every Rose a Thorn, which is, you unlock the lore, basically, I think it's RNG with thorn kills.
Getting thorn kills.
Yeah, every kill you get with a thorn, you have probably I'm guessing a 4 or 5% chance of the next book dropping, or the next page.
There are people that are saying that it's a certain number of kills, but there are other people who are saying
it's total RNG.
It's completely random.
Are you on track to get Chronicler?
I believe we already have Chronicler. This is just collecting lore that's going away. This is just finishing up the lore that's going away in the Destiny content vault, or just going away. I don't know if it's going to the vault or not. So yeah, that was kind of fun.
Chronicler is also getting vaulted.
I might mention too, I don't know why I'm picking these things that are completely low drop rate RNG. Maybe I just want to torture myself, but I've been trying for about a month now to get an emblem. It's the one open world emblem I'm missing, and it's called Ignition Unsparked, and it's one of the variant emblems that came out with Warmind for the planet Io. And for some reason, I was sure because I remember when Warmind came out, they brought back those sort of grindy things, like with the nodes and everything. And I was like, oh, this is great. I love it. They're going back, making it a hobby, bringing back collector stuff. And so I went out and I got all the planetary variants. I just grinded chest opening. But this one's, after about, I have to say, at least 500 chests opened in the Rupture alone on Io, nothing. It's just, but I could have sworn I got it already, which is really weird why it was missing. I don't know. That happened with a couple of things, I think, when we went to Forsaken. Some things got wiped, like you had to get them again. Like, I know there was a, what do you call it? The transmat effects. The one for Zol, I think, or one of those Warmind things. I had the transmat effect. It was in my collections, and then Forsaken came through, and it kind of reset it, like I didn't have it. So, and I never got that again. But I figure in my heart of hearts I have it. Yeah.
A couple of glitches going on.
I don't know why.
I don't think I'm under the impression that just because I've been watching you open chest after chest after chest, and I'm under the impression that they've taken it out of the code somehow. Like it's
somebody on Reddit got it in August. So
that's true. You did say you read that
somebody on Reddit said they got it.
It just has an extremely rare drop rate. So
right.
All right. Well, should we
move along? Hop into the TWAB this week. See what's going on this week at Bungie.
We have got how many more days? Not long, right?
No,
2 or 3 more days.
It's coming up very soon. So they have the launch trailer at the head of the TWAB. And they have the calendar again to remind everybody. I don't know, did they update it at all? I don't think so.
No.
It's the same rollout.
Just reminding people,
and they talk about what they've covered so far, and introduce this concept of a couple of new things in the tower. One of which is the quest archive, which right now, if I'm not mistaken, you can go to Amanda in the tower and do old campaigns.
Yeah, like she has Red War and all that.
Warmind, Osiris. I almost felt like going in and doing one of those again.
And then there are also, if you go to the Cryptarch, I think it's the Cryptarch, has, like, if you have missions or quests that you dismantled or
I think that's also
discarded.
Amanda. She also has.
She also has that
discarded quests. Yeah, I don't know if it's just the ones that she offers, but I know that I accidentally picked up one of the old quests and then I discarded it, and now it always shows up when I just want to say hi to Amanda Hall.
Right.
Yeah.
Get some.
It'd be nice if she became relevant again. I like her character.
I mean, it definitely sounds like so they're going to have kiosks that have at least some of the content, at least the content that is not related to, obviously, the Destiny content vault.
Well, I think it's just going to be New Light. The New Light quest is going to be the only thing in there when we start, right?
Oh, yeah, maybe. I don't know what.
It says additionally, this will be the place for any veteran players who wish to go to pick up the New Light
quest.
Experience.
Yeah, because it's going to have stuff that you might have removed. So our hope is that this removes some of the confusion when trying to track down the odd quest that you previously discarded. And then additionally, it'll have, for veteran players, you can pick up the New Light quests if you want to experience the new player tutorials, which we probably should do.
I'll do it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for commentary's sake.
I'm definitely going to do it.
Yeah, just to get that perspective.
No, I want to do it.
Yeah, it's not even a perspective thing.
Why?
I want to meet Shah Han. I want to go back to the Cosmodrome.
Shah Han is
for old time's sake.
Is Aldrin, right?
No.
And then the other kiosk is the Monument of Lost Light's Exotic Archive, the MLLEA. And that'll be found.
Name.
That'll be found by the vault, and get this, you can acquire various exotics and legendary pinnacle/pursuit weapons that were once available through now retired quests. Oh, that's so cool. I like this.
It'll be good for players such as Funny Bone.
Yep. Although
they're coming back to the game.
I know he's a fan of making exotics super rare and exotic, and this doesn't do that, but it kind of does in the sense that I think it's a compromise because players will need an amount of glimmer destination materials, masterworking materials, and an exotic cipher or ascendant shard. So they're not making it just like you go in and just buy it for a couple thousand glimmer. You've got to work for your goodies, which is cool.
That's going to be a lot.
It's going to be a lot. Yeah, I hope so anyway. That'll be good. They're also introducing currency, spoils, and conquests, which can only be acquired when completing raids. So they're really trying to promote going into raids as well for this. The currency will be required for exotics previously tied to vaulted raids. Can you say 1,000 voices? Yeah.
Well, 1,000 voices isn't vaulted.
Yeah. Oh, no, it isn't. What would be vaulted?
Teraba.
Anarchy. Teraba. And the Anarchy.
Teraba.
I can't think of any others.
So I'm good.
Oh, wait. Vision of Confluence. I don't think that's going to be it.
They're not going to bring back
there.
stuff.
No, they're just going back to...
Do you think the Whisper and the...
Oh,
maybe,
yeah.
No,
maybe. Is it Nagi's Burden? I wouldn't mind
Outbreak.
getting. I never got that one.
The Outbreak might be in there.
Yeah, Outbreak Perfected.
Oh, what's
Whisper.
the one I didn't get because I was watercressed out of the game for a month?
Oh, me too. The Cabal weapon, right?
What was it?
Was it the Cabal?
It's the one
Cabal
exotic weapon I don't own.
It's called the Heir Apparent.
Heir Apparent. Yeah, that's
it's a Cabal machine gun type thing.
Leave it to Stego.
I didn't get that one either.
Yeah.
I don't have that one either.
I'm doing a little dance now. You can't see that on the podcast, and we don't have a webcam, but I'm happy about getting the Heir Apparent. So.
It's also saying legendary pinnacle / pursuit weapons.
Yes.
So it will probably also have Felwinter's Lie, Revoker, Recluse, Mountaintop,
Komodo.
That'd be interesting.
I mean, this is all speculation, by the way. We do not have an actual list of what is coming. They might trickle in these slowly.
Because like the question I would have, so like, because I always wanted Randy's throwing knife, but I didn't have enough fortitude to stay in the Crucible long enough to get it. But
nice.
That being said, I'm wondering if they'll have those particular pinnacle weapons in there because they're also sunset. So they're getting.
I think that's why they'll offer them.
Right, they're letting you get them, but they'll still only their max power will still only be like 1050.
Yeah.
So it's just if you want it for collection's sake, you can go and try to get it, type of thing. So
very exciting. I'm very excited about that.
What else is in this TWAB? Anything of note? They kind of ramble on here, but a lot of it's like patch notes, right? They're doing stuff to the Crucible.
Quality of life changes.
I feel like they're keeping their cards close to the chest with this one.
I hope so. I want so many surprises. I'm just like, it's just a new.
Login screens now have a dark background.
I knew you were going to see that, Romance Girl. I knew you would love that. That's your
dark
thing.
Mode, which is
I am a huge proponent of dark mode.
For you, this is worth the price alone, the $50 alone, right?
The other thing that I was extremely excited about, and I think that's further down in the TWAB from where you are on the screen here, but the champion mods becoming armor mods.
That's probably the most significant thing in this TWAB, right?
Because that's so exciting, right? Because now you can actually have the option of using a champion mod with an exotic weapon, because that's been one of the main drawbacks is like, oh hey, I'd love to use this exotic weapon on this champion, but unless it's an intrinsic perk,
and I can see why they didn't want to go that route at first, because that would make it a lot easier.
Yep.
Right.
But I am excited for the change and for the shooting through phalanx sheet. shields.
Yep.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
You know what I am?
Anti-barrier.
Now you don't need that Skyburner oath anymore to do that. You can use any anti-barrier.
Know if I don't know if our Sherpa Ghost is around at all this weekend, but I wouldn't mind trying another Grandmaster Nightfall since they're all available again this weekend. You know, we were pretty close.
We did get close, but what a pain in the butt. I don't know.
What light level are you all?
You and I talked about it, and that our best memories of Destiny 2 are completing that really hard content. Like, think about it.
Right.
You know, that, like, I remember
But what
that
level
time.
are you? What light level?
I'm like
Power
1080.
1080 with the artifact.
Yeah.
So that's like the minimum you need to go into Grandmaster Nightfall.
Yeah.
Mm.
We also usually
that
end up
might
doing
be,
those very
you might want to do the one
challenging
below.
activities.
Well, what I was going to say is we tried the highest level Grandmaster Nightfall.
We got pretty close to finishing it.
And Lake of
we just ran
Shadows.
out of time.
We ran out of time because we were still learning how to get through it, and we had a pretty decent rhythm and a pretty decent, you know, I think we figured out.
Astacross has a new video about the Lake of Shadows Grandmaster.
Yeah,
with some tips.
we were watching that actually.
Yeah, we did. So, at any rate, it's something to consider.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit about
time is
getting
limited
Funny
between
Bone
now
through
and the launch,
through
so
the 0 hour, which isn't something
Yeah.
I could do because I can't get through the jumping part.
The jumping.
But again, Richard, like I said, our seasonal
seasonal guru.
Not our seasonal, our resident.
Our clan Sherpa.
Our clan Sherpa could probably help out with that. But it sounds like the possibility of being able to go after the Outbreak Perfected in a different way would be available. So
I don't know what the swatches are here. It says several color swatches have been changed to better represent the applied color. Is that an art term or something? Swatches?
I think they're referring to the shaders.
Yeah, shaders.
Okay. Been changed to better represent the applied color.
No, it's character created. It's on character.
It's like skin tones.
Skin tones.
Okay. All right.
Swatches are like samples, color samples.
Okay.
So.
All right. Cool.
I mean, that's the way it's used in art anyway. Like a swatch is a color sample.
Head and hair models have been replaced with improved versions. A lot of people have been clamoring for beards, but I don't know if that's going to happen.
Yeah, maybe in the future.
And of course, the spicy ramen coupons are being removed. So Bungie has given us this beautiful desktop
F's in the chat.
It's on my background right now.
Is it really?
Actually, it's not on. I have it is on one of my screens anyway.
It's pretty cool, actually, to be honest.
It's a lot of red. You gotta like red.
Right.
Well, red is easy on the eyes.
Some pretty cool emblems. And store items and maintenance and preloads.
Love these emblems.
I know, those emblems are gorgeous.
Yeah.
Monday.
I'm liking all of them. Don't take Destiny 2. Don't discard it, right? You're not supposed to.
That's all Pacific time, so.
Yeah, that's all Pacific time. But doesn't it say with Xbox not to take it off your console?
Yeah, don't delete.
Just automatically don't delete it.
Thing,
It'll
yeah.
It'll automatically just delete it and reload it.
November 9th.
So.
4 p.m. Here's the interesting one. November 9th, 4 p.m. Pacific time. That would be 7 p.m. Eastern. In preparation for downtime, players will be removed from all activities and will be required to download a small update before logging in. They were talking about, a lot of people are speculating that has something to do with the live event, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And then they have console-specific
right?
instructions
right?
here.
Yeah.
And amounts of space you will need for the transition into the...
It will be down for 14 hours, though.
When lights go out. But you can come back
Right.
on after that download. We'll get to that in a second, what I've heard rumors of. We'll talk about that in a second. Of course, the rest is movie of the week. But I'd like to shift the conversation to the ARG that's been going on. Like I said, there's a lot of crazy stuff happening leading up to this launch. And the ARG is one of them. Salliebug, what do you know of the ARG?
I don't know very much about it. I know that it was part of the collector's edition. Like if you got the collector's edition, you were given a code, and then I feel like those codes changed every hour. I don't know. I don't know a lot about it because we didn't get the...
We didn't have the collector's edition.
We didn't get the collector's edition.
So it was just
we
for
don't
them.
have that, but what I do know is that it was a puzzle, and of course the community came together and they created a website to gather all the information and all of your typical players who were involved in that. Scarrow, is that one of them?
Yep.
And
Yep.
Glad, like
he was
again,
doing it.
all of the same cast of characters got together, solved it, and it basically opened up some additional pages of lore that was also included in the collector's edition, which is part of Clovis Bray's journal. We're going to talk a little bit about that in the Touch of Grimoire later on in the podcast.
Cool. But it is solved now? They solved the puzzle?
As far as I know, for the most part, I still think that there's some missing pieces of this lore book, and so there's still, which means there's some missing codes that have been... I think I saw, it comes out as like this black or like a white square or a black square image, but that image somehow, when you put them all together, almost looks like one of those scannable codes. I don't know. I don't even know how they figured it out, but they put it all together, and shout out to the smart people in the community.
Thank you to
who know what they're doing.
Reddit and the rest of the community.
And thank you to Bungie for providing this kind of puzzle that there is this community that is voracious for this kind of puzzle solving, and no one does it like Bungie.
No,
I'm not that familiar with ARG puzzles across RPGs.
The in-game one, the last one for what was it for? It was the hexagon puzzle,
Saint 14 puzzle.
Yeah, it wasn't it for the fusion rifle Bastion?
It was for the
It opened up Bastion early. Is what it did. I'm not really sure.
Man,
the puzzle itself.
People were going like days without sleep on that. You know, it was kind of fun.
It was intense.
It was pretty intense. Yeah, you're right. Nobody does it like Bungie.
I've been pretty busy, so I haven't been able to watch any of the streams of the people working on this, which I feel like I'm missing out a little bit, because I did enjoy watching. I do enjoy watching the puzzle solving, even though I'm not actually part of
hopefully there's some kind of summary of all the work that went into this when it's all done.
Absolutely. I hope so too. So
enter Paul Tassi.
Yeah.
Shout out to Paul Tassi.
Shout out to all of those players who put all of that in and opened up all of that wonderful lore, which I love.
So what did we get?
So we got two things. We got the pages of this lore journal, and then after they solved enough of it, Bungie put out a little teaser.
Oh yeah, the trailer
teaser
right
video. It's
right.
Not really, I hardly even call it a trailer.
We should link to it. We'll link to it in the episode notes.
Yeah,
for sure. That teaser trailer. Clovis Bray, Deepstone Crypt, Beyond Light raid teaser. It was. So it's like a little almost like you're looking
Love
through
all of those words together.
Well, it almost looks like there's security cameras. You're looking at CCT. What is it called? Closed caption. Yeah.
Circuit.
Yeah. So it's like
television.
security footage of these various cameras inside the Deepstone Crypt. It looked like it's really cool. It's very short. It's just no music or anything. That's worth checking out. We will link to it as well in our notes. The other strange information that's come out is this leaked live event as a finale to the season of Arrivals before moving into Beyond Light, and as I alluded to earlier, it seems to be related to that. A lot of people are speculating that Monday night, when we have to do that little download thing, is when it's going to occur, between downloading the little update and when the lights go out 3 hours later. So that would be between 7 and 10 p.m. Eastern time is when that's supposed to occur. Thoughts on that? Did anybody get any details on it? That's speculation. But Luke Smith did confirm that there is going to be a little, nothing huge, but a little time
Just a little nod.
Gather in the tower again for something. Right. I like that stuff, honestly.
They're
that's one of my favorite things.
They're doing a little live event to kind of say goodbye to the content that's going away, at least for a period of time.
We get to watch the planets blow up.
They're not just saying, okay, we're going to drop it off and that's going to be the end.
But
so the pyramid ships are going to suck up all the planets.
Yeah, like vacuums.
Like a vacuum.
Yeah, like a big vacuum.
As long as it's faster paced than the Almighty,
they're going to hoover up.
I have no problem with it.
Of the planets.
Are we going to see like Asher Mir, like almost like Anakin Skywalker, all glowy and everything coming back?
So 7 to 10 p.m. Although we don't really know the exact amount of time.
No, we don't know what's going on yet.
Be,
so stay tuned to the Twitters and the Reddits for that, I guess, and the Paul Tassies to see what happens there. And something else we picked up, speaking of Twitter, Salliebug ran across, or was it Romance Girl, actually? Somebody posted this in our clan Discord about a little shindig to celebrate at the farm called The Last Dance at the Farm. And that's today, November 7th at 6 p.m. Eastern time. Yeah.
Yep.
And so this fella, Cave 9269, 51-year-old guardian, founder of a very successful clan for older players, too old to grind. Wow, I think our clan is semi geriatric in that sense.
Well, I think you and I are only are the only ones.
We're the olds, yeah. We're the olds, and so we're definitely multi-generational for sure. We have 3 generations playing now in our clan.
Yeah, we did.
Because C3PO just joined our clan, and she's 10. Since our inception 3 years ago, our profile has included that we are up for anything from raids. Okay, sadly, our days of dancing at the farm, that's probably their version of raiding, right? If they're really old. If you're really old, about the best you could do is dance at the farm.
Hey,
right?
the older ones, older guardians can still raid.
Oh no, I'm saying like if they're in their 90s. I'm saying if they're in their 90s, that's probably one of your favorite activities.
Sure. Maybe.
Our days of dancing at the farm are coming to a close, so we are holding one last dance before the farm is sunset. So at the farm, November 7th, all platforms. It's going to be at the soccer field. So equip your favorite dances, put on ornaments, and join everybody down there for the last dance. So we are going to do that. Probably, I'm hoping it'll be interesting to see how many people know about this and hear about it. I'm sure at least another 1,000 we've just added by mentioning it on our podcast.
Yeah, right.
So.
Absolutely.
To our
10,000. I don't know if the farm can handle it.
Yeah, we're gonna overload the servers. We should have thought about before we mentioned it on this podcast. But anyway, so that's that. The dance party.
I'm excited.
I'm excited too,
yeah.
And I think it might be time for a little coffee break here. And
I'm loving it.
Yeah, so Salliebug, if you don't mind, I would come and collect your mug and give you some coffee if you're interested in beginning your Touch of Grimoire segment.
Absolutely.
Does that sound reasonable?
It sounds very reasonable.
But before we do that, let's just quickly check in with everybody's coffee status this morning. And that includes Funny Bone if he's still in chat. Romance Girl, what kind of coffee have you had, if any, this morning?
Daniel handed me an iced coffee.
Oh.
I didn't ask any questions of where it came from. So
Okay.
I'm not sure what kind. I assume it's an espresso roast.
Okay, but it wasn't like a can or product or in a bottle or something. It was homemade.
No. Well, Daniel, was it homemade?
No, it's the leftover from the Starbucks.
Okay. He had a Starbucks last night that he didn't finish.
Okay.
Leftovers.
Okay.
Coffee's coffee.
I was going to ask, what is your preferred? How do you like your coffee? Do you drink it black? Do you add any?
I drink it with a little dollop of coconut creamer, unsweetened.
Nice. That sounds good. I like just a splash of half and half. Not too much, but a splash of half and half.
I can go black
Now,
or half and half, like you.
At times, if I'm drinking iced coffee, I do at times like it with either, almond milk or coconut milk.
Yeah. Funny Bone has checked in. He's had 2 cups of Katahdin Baxter Blend. It sounds like a Maine product.
Katahdin Baxter Blend.
Mr. Coffee Drip.
Is that a Carpe Diem blend? I haven't tried that one. And if it is, we're going to need to try it.
What are we drinking this morning, Salliebug?
We're drinking a blend of Sumatra and the pumpkin spice. It was kind of the end of that one. We've got some new ones on the way starting tomorrow, so I'm excited.
Looking forward to it.
Katahdin is a roaster out of Wells, another local roaster.
Yes. Well, you know what it's time for, Salliebug?
Yes.
It's time for A Touch of Grimoire, starring Salliebug. Brought to you by the Paracasual Destiny Podcast and Coffee Break, also sponsored by the Paracasual Destiny Podcast. Take it away, Salliebug. What you got going on? And I will get us some coffee while you kick it off.
That sounds awesome. So, as mentioned before, this ARG puzzle that came out ended up adding quite a bit of pages to this lore book that was released with the collector's edition. And I am looking at that link right now. There's still quite a bit of it that is that has not been filled in yet. But right now, that document is just about 23 pages long. So it's no short lore book. So I'm not going to go into a detailed synopsis of it, because that would take way too long. You can obviously go to all of the lore masters who will for sure give us a very good synopsis of it. But what I loved about this is that we're getting the background story filled in of our Exo Stranger, who kind of left us in Destiny 1 and to never be heard from again. So we had no idea, like, were we ever going to see her again? What's her origin? I think somewhere in the lore it got revealed that the Exo Stranger was indeed Elsie Bray, also known as Elizabeth Bray. And, but this journal basically reveals Clovis Bray as this madman who just wants immortality and has discovered that there is something on Europa that will help him obtain this immortality. And he either gets something, there's something that's mentioned in this these lore pages called clarity control. I'm not quite sure. I don't have like the full background on that, but anyway, there's a device from the darkness, and I can't quite tell if it's Vex related or using Vex tech or whatnot, but that he was able to use that to kind of develop his science of developing the exos, right? So we're getting more of a background of where exos came from and where they originated, and it was clearly not from anything good.
No, he's evil.
That's interesting, though. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, just as kind of the Awoken were born of, like, some speculate on the edge between lightness and darkness, it seems that the Exos also have darkness and light blended into their history.
Absolutely. So the other interesting thing about this, and obviously, like I'm with this touch of grimoire, giving you like these kind of clouded synopses with hopes that you will go and read the lore, because Destiny does lore like no other. The stories are amazing. And one of the other things that I really liked about this one is that Maya Sundaresh, another character from Destiny 1, ends up somehow through a Vex simulation getting into the head of Clovis Bray. So there's like this very interesting interaction with probably not really Maya Sundaresh, but a Vex simulation of her. So it's
she was the Bray scientist, correct?
Yes, and she was one of those scientists, if you remember from the lore in Destiny 1, that they were able to capture a Vex, and they were they were researching it, and then they found out that this Vex was doing simulations of them and like actually like as they were talking, seeing the Vex doing a simulation of them talking. It was incredible.
Oh yeah, I remember that. And then they couldn't tell whether they were in the simulation or not, and they had to come up with a method. How do we know?
We're
Yeah,
the real thing,
Yeah.
or we're one of these simulations, because
So good.
until then there were like 250 some simulations of the same, the same interaction. It was crazy. Crazy lore, but so unique and so awesome. So I was happy to see her kind of like come back into the fold. One of the things that has come out of this lore, I don't want to spend too much time on it because I want others to put in the research and read it and not do too many spoilers, but one of the things that came out of this was that Elsie Bray kind of went along with Clovis because it seems like he duped her into thinking they were fighting the Vex. They were fighting against the Vex, that they've gone to Europa because the Vex have their constructs there and they need to fight them. So she agreed to be part of this whole, his experiment, because she's thinking it was to fight the Vex, when in reality he could care less about that.
There's more sinister things going on behind the scenes.
Absolutely. But there is a part in the lore book where she figures out what's going on. Elsie figures out what's going on, and she, in her exo body, decides to I think she first tries to get rid of it. Like she's like trying to shut down his thing, and then he's like, nope, you've got to go. And so she escapes, and he sends missiles out to her ship that she's trying to escape. But it's pretty clear that the missiles either don't, like the ship just disappears. So, and at some point in there, Clovis says that LC1 is a stranger to me. He actually says that. So there's a clear link of how Elsie kind of becomes the stranger. Definitely a link there. And there's a potential that there's an LC2, so there's like two versions of her, and one of them might end up being a mini boss, or one of the bosses that we have to fight in the new raid.
I want so much for us to be able to relate to our first encounter in Destiny 1 with the stranger. I remember exactly where it was on Venus, in that one area there, the Ishtar archives or whatever, and we meet her, and that dialogue, one of the most poignant cutscenes in Destiny 1, maybe all of Destiny, that interaction with that character, not having time to explain. And I want so much for that to make a little more sense after we go through the Beyond Light campaign. I'm hoping for that anyway. That'll be cool if it does that. Yeah.
No, I mean, we're definitely going deep into some lore that was left kind of unfinished in Destiny 1, and the lore community has been very thirsty for it. So I am so I'm just really excited that they've picked up on these storylines.
Yeah,
I know.
And Deepstone Crypt has been there's been a lot of lead up to this.
Wow, man.
I mean, we've known that the Deepstone Crypt was the birthplace of Exos for the longest time, but
since the
really had
beginning.
not really a whole lot of detail of what it is. So
it's been shrouded in mystery. I remember there was an old Grimoire card. I'll try to find it. I'm sure they're online somewhere with the picture of the Deepstone Crypt. It was just like artist's rendition of the Deep Stone Crypt. It's been just intriguing to me ever since, and they've done such a good job of keeping it.
I feel like there's a lot, and it's come out in some of the threads that I've read on Reddit and through Twitter, that a lot of these storylines that were kind of like shelved for a period of time, that were part of kind of the original Destiny stories and storylines, that they're now finally able to kind of revisit. So it's exciting. It's really exciting.
I think that's a strength of Bungie as well, pulling out old assets, whether it be lore or worlds or even armor, weapons, and
I mean, they had. I think Europa was in the original Destiny concept art.
Mm-hmm.
From very early on.
Yeah. So I love this looping back to the origins.
They're looping back to their origins and picking up on parts of the story that they clearly had a story that they were desire to tell.
I'm speculating Venus is coming out of the vault next.
Are you calling it now? Let's mayonnaise jar that.
I feel like I'm definitely I'm going to agree with you there, because there's definitely a connection, especially in these lore pages. There's a connection. They're bringing back the Vex, and pulling the Vex into this storyline. The Vex are definitely connected through all of this, and I know that when we were on Venus, that was where the first raid was. Well, Venus has to come back, right? Well, not technically.
Exactly. I mean, we're getting some. Well, that's more of a portal too, right?
Right. You could go through a different portal.
There's speculation there'll be a different portal.
But,
yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess that's possible. So
all good stuff to look forward to.
The Black Garden on the moon
exactly.
as well.
We went to the Black Garden.
That's right. That's right.
It starts in T-minus what?
2 days.
2 days.
3 days.
Countdown's on.
Countdown's on. Oh yeah.
And Salliebug and Sooltime have this November 11th off.
Oh.
So
the next day. So not launch day, the next day?
Not launch day. So I mean, for sure we'll just splash in on Tuesday, but very excited that we actually get to spend a day with it before we have to head back to work. So
yeah. So we've been closing out these episodes with a little segment we like to call the Destiny sound check. And in this week's sound check, I've started listening to some fan-made music. Have you guys listened to any fan-made music for Destiny? I'd say it comes in two categories. There's people who write songs like an ode to Cade, or just they write these songs that's great, that have lyrics, and it's either in sort of I want to say like a Celine Dion ballad format, or it's maybe like in a hip hop rap or heavy metal format, heavy metal rap, almost like a Beastie Boys thing. There's that part of it, but there's then people who compose soundtrack music that's Destiny inspired. That's really interesting too, and I think in future sound checks anyway, I'll probably be featuring some of these musicians and artists who are doing some fan music, and we can give that a listen. But today I ran across a YouTube video that strung together the pieces of music that were used in the Destiny, the Beyond Light vidoc, which is called Forged in the Storm. And the very first track on this little compilation video I watched was a piece called Cortex Bomb by Jo Blankenburg. And I'd like to give that a listen today. So I think what they've been doing is using going out and using these other outside Bungie musicians or tracks that have already been recorded, like the Paint It Black track we featured last week, for their trailers, the launch trailer, and for their vidocs. And then I assume we are going to get a Salvatore and Company soundtrack done internally in Bungie for Beyond Light, and I can't wait to hear what's coming out for that. So in a way, they're kind of keeping that under wraps by using these other tracks. But this is some really great sounds, great composition. And Jo Blankenburg, let's see if we can't pull him up here. I don't know. You can't see his picture at home, but definitely we'll link to his website.
And he's not on the podcast, to clarify.
Right. But to clarify, he's not here. He's a German. Here's the Wikipedia. German composer based in Los Angeles. He writes music for film and motion picture advertising. Some of his most popular tracks have been used in the advertising campaigns of The Hunger Games, Harry Potter and the Death Hallows, X-Men First Class, and How to Train Your Dragon, among many others. And it is many others if you go to his website and look at his curriculum vitae. It's amazing, some of the stuff he has done. And so without further ado, I'm going to play the first minute or two of Cortex Bomb, which was used as music for Forged in the Storm, the Beyond Light vidoc. Here it is, that we all saw. And I just want to say I've been drawn to these sort of synthy compositions with lots of synthesizers, and in that one it really builds up. And I only played the first couple minutes of it. It's got another minute and a half. I encourage you to listen to that second minute and a half. It continues to ramp up in intensity, and I got a real sort of Vexy feel from it, and it goes so well with, I think, the Beyond Light theme. I think one of the reasons I've been drawn to sort of these synthesizer-based compositions, and that one reminded me a lot of, I don't know if anybody recalls Mike Oldfield, who did the Exorcist theme, Tubular Bells. It's got that sort of kind of repetitive theme that just keeps building and building and building. Of course, this just seems so much more sinister sounding to me than Tubular Bells by today's standard. But yeah, and as I was saying, Funny Bone recently procured a synthesizer, an analog synth that he graciously allowed me to play around with, and I'm hoping to encourage him to. I'm hoping he does some recording with it and some compositions as well, whether they're Destiny inspired or whatever. Looking forward to that. Maybe we can feature some of that eventually on our podcast. But like I said, I'm starting to listen to more of the fan-made Destiny music that's out there, and we'll be featuring some of those artists in the future.
Awesome.
Yeah. At this time, I'd like to ask, has anybody been doing anything of note outside of the world of Destiny, consuming media, either music or books or Netflix or any of that stuff outside of Destiny?
I've been listening to Ivy and Sarashu. My some of my favorite composers. They're a duo. They did the soundtrack for Steven Universe, and actually were able to get the original soundtrack of the show released, all of the seasons, the actual music behind the show, and they're a mostly chiptune and piano duo, so some synthesizer. And yeah, I've been really enjoying. I don't usually listen to instrumental music, but I've been actually getting into that lately. They also did the soundtrack for the game that Daniel's been playing, Eichenfell.
Cool. Nice. It's neat when those connections happen and you find yourself drawn to the same threads of people working on the same projects like that.
Yes.
I think that's always awesome. Salliebug, what have you been up to outside of Destiny in terms of media consumption?
Oh, media consumption. Well, we're still on our a little bit of the Dark Shadows. Still watching some old Dark Shadows episodes. We actually came across a YouTube of a Dark Shadows reunion Zoom meeting.
Oh, wow. Oh, my God.
That last, so talk about being a true Dark Shadows fan. So that was kind of fun because there were like 10, I want to say 10 different actors who had been part of the series, either majorly or minor.
I was surprised how many are still kicking and doing so well. I mean, this cast is mostly in their 70s now, right? And a few in their 80s for sure.
Right.
And they're still coming together as friends.
Like Dark Shadows has like this, this cult following. So
right.
I think there were even, prior to COVID happening, there were conventions and so forth, people who would go. I think there were tours where you could tour some of the New England places where the filming happened, at least in the outdoor parts.
Right.
Most of it was in a studio, clearly, but like the outside filming of some of the buildings, so forth, where you could go. So that and not much else that comes to mind. Dabbling a little bit in listening to that Japanese musician that Funny Bone turned us on to.
Oh, the Yellow Magic Orchestra. What's his name? Highly recommend Yellow Magic Orchestra.
I don't know. Funny Bone's in chat still. Maybe that he could.
Yeah.
Give us
Do you remember the name of the musician who did Yellow Magic Orchestra?
Magic Orchestra.
Oh, I'm gonna butcher the name, but it's Haruomi Hasono or Hosono. Haruomi Hasono. Great musician. I mean, he started in the late 60s with like folk rock in Japan and then moved into electronic music in the 70s with a couple of bands. And we were listening to the Yellow Magic Orchestra album. I forget which one it was. But highly recommended. If you have Spotify or whatever, just check it out. I think it's on Spotify, Yellow Magic Orchestra. And also solo stuff by the maestro himself. Really, really great music. Reminiscent to that Japanese. There's something about that Japanese pop that just brings me back to my childhood of anime. That early anime, the Lupin the Third and all that stuff. And of course, all the RPGs we've played are well scored with that genre of music as well. I would ask Funny Bone what he's been up to media consumption wise. Yeah, he says a bit of a Danny Elfman vibe to it, for sure.
For the German composer.
For the German composer, yeah.
Oh, he was referring to the German composer. Okay. Danny Elfman. Yeah. Oh, it did. Yeah, absolutely, Danny Elfman. I'm just seeing that now.
A little bit of Making Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard it.
Yeah.
A little more synthed up, though.
Yep. Stego, any closing words from you? Recommendations?
Now I've been doing stuff with Romance Girl.
Mm-hmm.
And
cool.
And yeah. Just gonna check out episode 2 of Mandalorian later today, I bet.
There you go. Great Saturday activity.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And maybe some more Destiny.
Yeah, I think that's probably
absolutely.
in our future as well, after some yard work.
Yeah, I think definitely all about doing some Destiny and getting on and finishing up some of those old things. Maybe
I want to hit up season rank 100.
I don't know. Why not?
I don't know about a Grandmaster for me. I mean, well, Grandmaster is
it's off the table
cards
for
for
us.
me. I'm like 1060 3.
Romance Girl says no.
No, he tried to queue us up. We are not high enough power to enter the activity.
Yeah, you need to be a minimum 1080.
Yeah.
And I am not 1080.
His eyes were bigger than his light.
But I might be interested in grinding out some like enhancement cores and maybe one that has like uncommon enhancement prisms.
Oh,
Yeah,
one thing I will say,
Nightfall
if you haven't already, get out all of your old tokens and go to those planets and turn them in. Might as well.
Yeah, I should probably do that.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's legendary shards.
I know Romance Girl, you ended up you said it, and I don't know about Stego, but you're sitting on a plethora of legendary shards, but I'm not
like a
sitting
dragon.
on a plethora of legendary shards because when it comes time to level up, I kind of level up willy-nilly. So I spent a bunch of mine on leveling up and getting upgrade modules and so forth. It's like, nope, when I want to upgrade, I'm just going to upgrade. So I could use some
you never know what the economy
shards.
is going to be until it launches, really.
Right. So, and why not? Because I'd rather just go and I talked about that at on the last podcast that I sit at the gunsmith and turn in, and I did that for like 5 minutes and got bored very fast. But the gunsmith materials I don't think are going away, but the tokens definitely are. So why not go and spend those? Just turn them in, get a few pieces of gear that I can then dismantle for some legendary shards and get them that way. And that way I can at least beef up my legendary shard number a little bit. But the planets are going away, so get rid of the tokens and the planetary materials before they just get dismantled from your inventory. And of course, if the spider is doing I think he is probably your best for the planetary materials.
Yeah.
If he's doing an exchange.
And he's going to do an exchange through next season, but they said diminishing returns. Right?
Yeah, right now he's offering, he will accept Dusklight Shard and give you Glimmer, and he will accept Baryon Bow and give you legendary shards. So that's
that's the end. That's the last one.
No, his exchange is
daily.
Daily.
Okay, he changes daily.
He changes daily, and both of those things.